Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Is Athens, the capital of Greece, being colonized by Israelis' capital investments? We're gonna take a look at this and hear from someone who has presented a story I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, but if you're not, we're gonna focus briefly on this today. Now, what's going on with Albania and the project of removing Albanians from Albania that has been going on for a pretty long time. A very interesting post I'm going to present to you today, as well as what is the Albanians Resort sister project. We cannot forget about the investment. Was it 1 point, I forgot, 1.4, I think it was 1.4 billion US dollars that Sazan Island supposed to be turned into this luxury resort. Kushner, his wife Ivanka, Trump, and those who are behind them as well. The protests are still continuing in Albania, but what is the sister project? Because there is similar one that the same investors are involved in, and what part of the world it is. So we're gonna look into this as well. Now, as the absolute tragedy in Venezuela continues with the victims, with the level of devastation, what else is taking place? What would you think? They are trafficking orphaned earthquake children. I'm not surprised at all, because that's what they do. They create tragedy, they create disaster, and then they come to the rescue. And another topic that is very, very disturbing, this one is from California, the slaughter of the dogs in California. A heartbreaking story. I think a lot of you probably already heard of, but if you haven't, this is pretty recent, about, I think, a day or two this has been reported. And we're gonna end with lobbying United Kingdom politicians on behalf of Israel. Actually, we're gonna end with great quotes, one of which comes from one of my favorite writers, Ernest Hemingway. So today I want to ask you kindly to check out my Patreon account and Locals account, because as I've mentioned before, a lot of my videos are not only demonetized, but they are stealing the percentage of the advertisement money that's supposed to be paid to me, or I'm sure many other content creators. Therefore, the way for me to support my work and support myself is to have the other two platforms that you pay for the membership, but there are different tiers. There is very low tier, there are higher tiers. It really depends on you guys, and I really appreciate your support in that. I put out a video the day before yesterday that you can check out already. And like I said, if you don't see video here, then there is a video there, because, you know, putting energy, effort, and research is it takes time and energy of my own as well. And I want to feel like I am being productive and also rewarded. And doing this for free, I am not in the financial situation to do it for free yet. Ultimately, I would like to. So if you appreciate the content, make sure to subscribe here, hit the thumbs up, and also check out my Patreon and Locals account. Now let's jump to the first topic, which is Israeli capital is buying up Athens. Not surprised. Let's take a look. I'm sure this is not the only place in the world, but it's pretty obvious over there.
They're going to tell the stories of essentially how Israeli money is taking over the city of Athens. Okay, you're about to watch not me on the bike, but me in Athens, where I've been reflecting a lot on the idea of debt and the question of who the city is for. And I've been staying with a comrade who reached out to me, and they've been hosting me. They just can't be on video. They're going to tell the stories of essentially how Israeli money is taking over the city of Athens.
Half of the city feels like it's being upgraded as it's called, and all the prices are going up by a lot.
This is basically also the driver of gentrification, right? Like this is how it happens. People with capital buying up old, dilapidated buildings that haven't been maintained, upgrade them, and then jack up the price 3 times.
This is an Israeli-owned place. There is an investment slash property management group called Zoya, and they have a lot of buildings in the whole of Athens. And this is one that has been targeted several times. You can see slightly over there, like pieces of paint bombs and stuff in the past.
Super clearly, yeah.
And now for some statistics. In the last 2 years, of 2024 and 2025, there has been 250 to 280 million euros of Israeli capital poured into the Greek real estate market, making them the #1 investors in Greek real estate. And here is an example.
We can see this humongous building is one of the buildings owned by Brown Hotels, Israeli company that has a lot of hotels.
Classic capitalist extractivist style, doing a deep dive into Brown Hotels and its affiliates reveals a confusing kaleidoscope of ownership structures. But the bottom line is, a lot of these hotels can be traced back to Israeli capital. Why? Well, the fact is that the price per square meter in Athens is roughly 5 times cheaper than in Tel Aviv. This is a world that revolves around the primacy of capitalism. So if you ask me, down with capitalism.
They're going to tell the stories of essentially how.
And there you have it, everyone. So they are #1 investors, and they have been for some time. I think it started in 2024 or around the time. Again, I'm not an expert, but I've heard of it a while back. And this video just came across my Instagram, and I said, you know what? Let's take a look. So there you have it. Now, as far as the investors go, let me take you to the sister project of Albania's Sazan Island project. First, I will read you this, and then I will have to mute myself and play what the lawyer, who I think is one of the top criminal lawyers in the world. Let me find it, guys. Yes, so the Albania resort scandal has a sister project in Seychelles. I don't know how you say it. We say Seychelles in Polish. Seychelles, I think. So from Albania to Aldabra, that's the name. The same investors behind Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump's controversial Albania resort project are now being linked to the ongoing hotel development near Aldabra Atoll, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Seychelles. Yesterday, this is from 2 days ago, international criminal lawyer William Bourdon revealed on France 24 that the Qatari investors, the Al Kayat brothers and their asset group, are behind the catastrophic destruction of both treasured biodiversity hotspots. So I'm going to read first, before I go back to this and play it. Here is the map. Aldabra Atoll is a place of global importance, home to hundreds of species found nowhere else on Earth, including the Aldabra giant turtle. It's one of the most biodiverse places in the world on land and underwater. The Qatari, those two, Al Kayat brothers, have a pattern of finding the most biodiverse places in the world and bulldozing them for huge personal profit. Between Albania and Aldabra, there is a global pattern of ecocide and community displacement in favor of the elite. One of the most powerful criminal lawyers in the world has mentioned Assumption Island in connection to Albania on live French TV. So I am actually going back to play what he said on the TV channel, France 24. Albania is calling for accountability and international support. Help Seychelles get the same. So now, guys, I have to do this because I have issues with my computer and I am struggling a bit, but nevertheless, we're gonna get there. Now, let me mute myself and let's take a listen to what that one of the top criminal lawyers in the world has said.
And in Seychelles, we have the same key individual, the same operators, Al Kayat brothers, Qatari billionaires, very well known to have absolutely complete despise for law, protection of areas, and with the same target, the same obsession to develop luxurious project resorts in some places which are considered by UNESCO as our collective heritage. So it's our collective responsibility now to be imaginative and to join the aspiration of the Albanian people and Seychelles also, activists, and I want to applaud them, to send a clear message to these guys. We will succeed to put an end to your greed. In Albania and in Seychelles, we have the same key individual.
So that's what's up. Since we are on the topic of Albania, this is very interesting. And I think someone left the comment a while back under one of my videos, which was about situation in Albania. Let me find this post. This is the project of removing Albanian people that has been going on for a while, and I'm going to read this for you. So here is Gaza, of course, and here you have those 4 individuals. Who are they? I recognize those 2. I forgot the name of this one, but now I remember. It's Milosevic, who was the president of Yugoslavia. But here you have Edi Rama, who is the prime minister of Albania. Here, you know who is this, George Soros. And the last one is Vaso Čubrilović, who was Yugoslavian academic, who was the author of the platform for expulsion of Albanians. Let me just read this post. So you have those 4 people together. And what does it say? There is no more Albania. The 4 brothers in the photo are the criminal architects of the occupation of Albanian lands, killing and expulsion of Albanians and selling the country to foreigners. The names are number 1. So we go from the left. Edi Rama, anti-Albanian, the executive of the plan of bankruptcy and free sale of Albania and destruction of the structure, culture, welfare, health of Albanians, forcing them to leave the country. So that's his plan, and he is clearly executing this. I forget how many years, 9 or 12, I forgot, long time. The second one, we go here. So this one, you know who, George Soros, notorious international speculant, ceremoniously expelled from several countries as an enemy of the system and corrupt. The conquest of Albania and the democracy of Albanians is his project, while Edi Rama, the carefully chosen person to implement. Now we jump to Milosevic, president of Yugoslavia, executor of Albanians, and the plan for the final robbery of Kosovo Albanians' lands. And the last one here is Vaso Čubrilović, Yugoslavian academic year, author of the platform for expulsion of Albanians from their lands. Read the platform and you will be surprised how much it matches with what Edi Rama has done in these 13 years. Yeah, so he's 13 years the prime minister. The picture below is the Gaza flat, a scary similarity to what is happening to us. The invasion has been under our nose for 13 years in a row, selling it to us as a development. This explains actually a lot. Don't you think? Don't you think, guys? Like, the longer we look into things, the more we are discovering. Really, like at the end, if you really seek the truth, you will be able to connect the dots. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm sure the same is with you. So now let's jump to as far as lobbying goes and putting the right people in the right positions. We're gonna take a look at very informative video, and this is about lobbying UK politicians on behalf of Israel. Here we go. Of course, a long-term thinking project.
Israel is deeply embedded in British politics, and one man has spent decades dedicated to the cause. Trevor Chin inherited his wealth from his father, who ran the RIC and simultaneously served as president of the Jewish National Fund in Britain, an organisation described as a colonialist agency of ethnic cleansing for its role in supporting illegal Israeli settlements. Since the 1980s, he has simultaneously funded Labour and Conservative Friends of Israel, ensuring both parties remain institutionally committed, regardless of who wins elections. Declassified Foreign Office files document him repeatedly lobbying John Major's Conservative government on Israel policy. He plays a leading role in BICOM, now Britain's most powerful pro-Israel lobbying organisation, which has flown scores of politicians and journalists to Tel Aviv. He also contributed around £500,000 towards Tony Blair's political project. As Blair's former chairman of Labour Friends of Israel noted at the time, Zionism is now pervasive in New Labour. When Jeremy Corbyn, Labour's most explicitly pro-Palestinian leader, threatened to end that arrangement, Chin co-founded and co-funded Labour Together alongside hedge fund manager Martin Taylor to remove him. Morgan McSweeney reportedly concealed over $700,000 in donations to protect Trevor. Operation Red Shield was devised to burn down Corbyn's Labour from the inside. In 2020, Chin donated 50k to Starmer's Labour leadership campaign. The donation was not disclosed until 5 days after the election. Starmer had previously been a member of Labour Friends of Palestine, pledging to put human rights at the heart of foreign policy. Within weeks of receiving Chin's money, he publicly declared, "I support Zionism without qualification." The same year, Chin privately met with Shadow Minister Steve Reed and 5 pro-Israel lobbyists. Secret minutes show Reed committed Labour to opposing Palestinian solidarity movements, promoting the IHRA anti-Semitism definition, and establishing a permanent channel of communication with Starmer's office. Reed is now Environment Secretary. By the time Labour returned to power in 2024, 13 of their 25 cabinet members had already accepted money from Chin or pro-Israel groups. And in October 2024, at the height of the Gaza genocide, Chin met the Foreign Office's political director to advise on UK arms exports to Israel. The government initially described it as discussing geopolitics with a businessman. FOI requests reveal he was lobbying against suspension of arms licenses. In the 3 months following that meeting, Labour approved more in arms licenses to Israel than the entire period from 2020 to 2023. He later held undisclosed meetings with Foreign Secretary David Lammy and Middle East Minister Hamish Falconer. No minutes were taken. In November 2024, with 43,000 Palestinians confirmed dead, the Israeli president personally awarded Chin the Medal of Honor for his uncompromising commitment to Israel, especially after October 7th. Chin's method has been described as carrot and stick. I will be very interested to see what donations Andy Burnham registers in the coming months. But, of course, that's just speculation. Israel is
Very informative, wasn't it? Again, I'm not an expert in UK politics, but it's really the same formula everywhere, don't you think, guys? All around the world. Now, I'm going to take you to a video that is not an evidence, that is not, a journalist over there who is recording what's taking place, but someone talking about it. But I think it's important to bring this awareness to people, because that's also another thing that's pretty obvious. If there is a tragedy, a conflict, a war, a disaster, natural or not, mostly lately not, the children are suffering and a lot of them are becoming orphans. And what happens to those children? Where do they go? Who takes them? You know the spiel, you know the story. And a lot of those helping children organizations pop up all over the place. And there you have it. So human trafficking is absolutely going on. I'm just going to play this video for you. I don't think this is going to show anything to you as far as the evidence, but it's important to focus on this for a moment because we know what's going on.
Guys, something just really got me this morning. I was watching videos coming out of Venezuela, and what's going on there is worse than what we can imagine. Now, I don't have all the answers. All I can do is use my platform and my following to raise awareness on this issue, because apparently a lot of the people looking for family members, the police and military aren't allowing them to get to the areas that they need to get to. But the real disturbing thing that's going on is that apparently they are taking traumatized and orphaned children to use for child trafficking, which breaks my heart, obviously, because, well, I mean, how evil can you get? I mean, to use something as horrific as what's happened to then go to the next step and then start taking the children is just a stain on humanity. It's not even humans doing it. These people are evil. They're not even like us, right? But this is what we're dealing with. And on top of that, the police are robbing what's left of the of anything people own out of the rubble. They're just taking stuff, and it's just horrific. Like I say, I don't have all the answers. You know, those people are. I'm very close to Latin America. I live in Mexico, so I know what the people are like, and I just want to share their suffering in the hope that it raises awareness on the issue, because what's going on out there is far worse than any of us can imagine. So please share this.
So I did. I shared his video and I'm not surprised at all. Now another story that is coming from California. And I want to address it as a, like I said this before in several other videos, that I absolutely love dogs. And I think dogs are truly God's gift to humans. You know, when you reverse, and I know a lot of you know this, when you look at the name, at the word dog, D-O-G, when you reverse it, you have God, right? But that is a thing a lot of you know. Is this bond, is this love? And they remind us of unconditional love. They remind us of what really matters in life, and what kind of energy they carry is something you hardly ever meet constantly in a human being. Even if they are abused, they have to be really abused for some time or horribly abused, they change the behavior. But even those dogs who have been punished in the early stages, they still return to this softness and love and joy and expression of unconditional love. So here is a story from California, and I just want to tell you that I think this is going on in many countries, maybe not exactly like this, but they are removing dogs, okay? This way or the other. Here is the story from California.
It's really
For a third straight day, excavators searched the Humboldt County property of a self-proclaimed no-kill rescue.
You cannot put into really words of what exactly it smells like. The closest thing I can think is a pile of dead deer.
The Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, FBI, and several state agencies are involved in Thursday's excavation. Authorities say dozens of dogs have already been dug up, many with microchips. It follows our reporting on a search warrant affidavit alleging the rescue accepted dogs and money from shelters across California under the promise they would be cared for and rehomed. Instead, investigators believe dogs were killed to make room for more. Berkeley and Oakland were among the Bay Area shelters that sent hundreds of dogs there before cutting ties. The investigation began after a neighbor uncovered a burial pit containing 8 dogs with apparent gunshot wounds.
I hope that it will be the beginning of a change where the animals will be removed from him and placed into legitimate rescues where they actually find loving homes.
We are still not naming the rescue. More than 2 months later, no charges have been filed against the owner or any employees.
I wouldn't take the fact that it's been a little while and charges haven't been filed as any indication that they won't be filed.
Experts say prosecutors would have to prove exactly what happened.
Animal cruelty cases can be especially difficult to charge and prosecute because there are unique evidentiary challenges that come with animal cruelty cases. Most notably, the fact that the animals themselves can't testify.
And even the most shocking allegation in this case may not by itself prove animal cruelty.
To euthanize an animal in California by a bullet. So that alone is not animal cruelty.
Investigators say hundreds of dogs sent to the rescue are still unaccounted for.
God forbid hundreds of dogs are found buried. The owner is found responsible for that. He still might not face any animal cruelty charges.
He might not.
For a third straight day, excavators.
Everyone meet Shannon Miranda, owner of Miranda's No-Kill Dog Rescue, who's accused of shooting and killing more than 700 dogs in the past year that he had been paid $500,000 to find homes for. This all started when a woman named Jennifer Raymond found a stray kitten and gave it to Miranda's rescue so they could help find it a home. So the very next day, Jennifer calls to check on the kitten, and Shannon Miranda told her the kitten had already been adopted. Well, Jennifer thought this sounded a little shady, so she starts asking questions, and the gossip around town is that he was killing the animals. So one night, Jennifer sneaks onto the rescue's property after seeing a bunch of freshly dug graves and finds 8 dead dogs, all shot in the head. Jennifer then alerts authorities, who discover that of the 900 dogs the rescue was paid more than $500,000 to care for over the past year, 731 of them are missing. And when I say missing, I mean dead, shot and killed. So far, authorities have dug up the remains of 117 dogs, most with bullet holes through their skulls, and the majority of them with chips in them. They were someone's pet. Kill shelters from all over California would pay money, sometimes thousands of dollars per dog, for Miranda's rescue to adopt them, but instead he was killing them. Authorities say they found 600 collars hanging in the room they used to kill the dogs, like it was some sort of trophy room. The investigation is currently ongoing, but authorities say charges are likely coming. Everyone meet Shannon.
I almost wanted to say what I would do to this person, but I don't want to say it. The man that you saw in those pictures is this guy. You know, I know there are other tragedies in the world. I know. I talk about it pretty much daily. But this is like... And it's actually happening in other places as well. We had situation in Poland where dogs have been also abused and killed in the shelters in Poland. The same story, all because of money. And, you know, mental thing those people have, because this is like a sick, evil person, this guy. One more thing before we end this video, I want to share some quotes that I came across. And I think they are very relevant and very wise. And I think we need to remind ourselves, let me find it, guys, of certain quotes from some people, like, for example, Ernest Hemingway, who said, "Dying for your country is a patriotic fairy tale. In reality, you will bleed out in the mud like a butchered dog for absolutely nothing." And isn't it so relevant to the news I was just reporting, except this was about dogs. But this is also about the soldiers and how the governments convince them to fight for the country that, by the way, does not even protect them, but abuses them. And one more, actually 2 more. This is from Isaac Asimov. When stupidity is considered patriotism, it is unsafe to be intelligent. And this is from Miyamoto Musashi. A peaceful man must still know violence, or his peace belongs to whoever threatens it. Well, and here we have George Orwell, who said, "The world is not driven by those who are right, but by those who are powerful enough to decide what is right." Isn't it true? Isn't it true? That's all I have for you, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate your understanding of me being present on other platforms which support my work, and you supporting me there. You find the links to Patreon and locals down below this video. And if you appreciate the content today, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave the comments down below. With this being said, lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge, and we are saving humanity. And I should add, and we are saving dogs and other animals as well, right? We should. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.